Tonight on DC News Now at 9, cleanup from Baltimore's bridge collapse continues with no clear timeline in sight.
I know there's an urgency to move fast, but we have to be clear on the risks.
This as a temporary ship route opens around the wreckage.
Hi everyone, tracking a DMV first warn day for you Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll time out these storms in a moment.
A year after a double homicide inside a Fairfax County home, shocking new details revealed about the alleged whereabouts of the family's au pair and the husband of one of the victims.
Ran out, she chased him, and she shot him like 4 times.
A man gunned down in a Navy Yard apartment, frightening renters as crime in the D.C. neighborhood creeps up.
I'm ready to move.
And pesky potholes getting patched up. Hear more about Alexandria's plan to ease headaches for drivers starting today. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan, and we're following some breaking news overseas in Gaza with ties here to DC. Health officials there say an apparent Israeli airstrike has killed 4 workers of the World Central Kitchen. The charity, founded by DC chef Jose Andres, has been delivering food and supplies to Gaza by ship for weeks. This is a video showing the ship loaded with food. Now, according to the Associated Press, 3 of the workers killed were British, Australian, and Polish. The nationality of the 4th worker is not yet known. The worker's Palestinian driver was also killed in that airstrike. The AP reports their car was hit just after they crossed out of northern Gaza, where they were delivering aid. The Israeli military saying it was conducting a review to understand the circumstances of this tragic incident. The World Central Kitchen responding tonight in a statement on X, saying in part, this is a tragedy. Humanitarian aid workers and civilians should never be a target, ever. Of course, this story is developing. We'll bring you any updates as they come in, both on air and online at dcnewsnow.com. All right, let's turn now to the heavy rain moving into our area tomorrow morning. A live look tonight at the White House. Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb here. And Janessa, we really could be dealing with severe weather over the next couple of days.
Yeah, this is a Tuesday and Wednesday situation. What's rare about this is going to happen in your kind of early morning, late morning into your early afternoon situation where temperature profiles are not super warm. So we're going to stay pretty mild overnight, and that'll set the tone for this severe weather situation. The biggest impacts for tomorrow are going to be in Ohio, central parts of Columbus, Cincy area, just outside of the greater Cleveland area, and then we are going to get that front side. At this point, flood watches, they have not expanded across Kaiser and Cumberland, and most of the DMV still going to hover into those regions, and that's where they're saying the heaviest pockets of rain are going to be impacted. Right now, we are dealing with a severe weather situation from St. Louis, and then that entire storm system will make its way across our region. Here's a stalled out front. The area of low pressure is going to stay elongated across DC metro area and then extend all the way into the center of the country. And this will provide us multiple waves of rain along with a tornado threat. Everything is on the table for tomorrow. Some areas, they're very low, but the primary threats are going to be flooding, hail, and damaging wind gusts. Here's the temperatures overnight, and they will really make a difference as we go into 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. As temperatures continue to rise, it's going to spark up the energy in the upper atmosphere and really allow for winds to start gusting. We'll time out these storms across western Maryland. You are the really center spot for tomorrow morning where that severe weather is going to run through. We'll talk about it coming up. Chris?
Okay, Janessa, thanks. A lot happening. We'll see you then. Meanwhile, developing now at 9. Some in D.C.'s Navy Yard neighborhood are planning to leave after a man was shot and killed inside of an apartment building. It happened Sunday just after 3 a.m. at the corner of 2nd Place and L Street Southeast. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg live at Navy Yard right now. And Daniel, you talked to the man who witnessed that shooting. It really has a lot of people on edge.
Yeah, Chris, he is certainly shaken up, as are other residents who live in this building. It happened on the 10th floor. He says he saw the shooting in the Harlow apartment building. Do you feel safe in this area?
No, and I'm ready to move.
Nico Jones heard commotion outside his door early Sunday morning And when he looked, he says he saw a woman who lives on his floor run after another man, identified as 44-year-old Michael James Quander Jr. of Northwest.
He ran out, she chased him, and she shot him like 4 times.
Others in the building didn't realize they heard gunshots, but feel
unsafe. And I have kids myself, so.
In a half-mile radius of the apartment building, D.C. police data shows year-to-date violent crime is down, but property crime is up. Constant reports of cars being broken into and stolen in Navy Yard.
Crimes have been going on for years. Okay, crimes. D.C. is not going to change. It's still been going on in the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. Crimes is still going on.
This is the first homicide of the year in this area. In all of 2023, there were 5 homicides compared to 1 the year before. Meanwhile, robberies were up almost 43%, thefts from autos up 58%, and motor vehicle thefts up 116%. While some want to move away, others want more action now.
Communication of more police officers doing their job.
D.C. police have not released any information about the suspect in this case, nor a motive. If you have any information, call D.C. police. We're live in Navy Yard. Daniel Hamburg, D.C. News Now.
All right, now the latest out of Baltimore. Today, an important first step in the long road ahead. U.S. Coast Guard has opened a temporary alternate channel for vessels clearing debris at the site of the fallen Key Bridge. Barges and tugs that have been stuck in the port will also be able to pass through using this channel. Yesterday, crews removed the first section of the 1.6-mile steel bridge from the water. But cleanup, it's proving to be a big challenge. Maryland Governor Wes Moore saying today, while the goal is to move as quickly as possible, there are safety risks every time someone goes into the water.
This is a steel bridge that is sitting on top of a container ship in the middle of the Patapsco River. We are talking about tons of steel that is mangled and cantilevered. We're talking about water that is so murky and so filled with debris that divers cannot see any more than a foot or 2 in front of them. We have to move fast, but we cannot be careless.
President Biden says he will visit Baltimore on Friday. And a new community memorial honors the 6 workers who died in that collapse. The workers came to Maryland from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. The memorial shows their home flags along with crosses and construction helmets. A Baltimore man who helped put the finishing touches on the display says he was a regular customer of a food truck operated by one of the victims, Miguel Luna.
We are surprised when we hear it was one of those guys involved in this accident. So, that's why we try and get all people together to try and support. You know, it's very hard for those people, you know, you go to work and you never know if you're gonna come back.
Yeah, those workers are filling potholes on the bridge when the cargo ship crashed. 2 of the bodies have been recovered, but 4 are still missing. All new tonight, a Fairfax County judge says there is probable cause in a murder case involving a Herndon family's au pair. It's a complicated case with new details coming out today in court. Our Northern Virginia reporter Max Marcilla breaks it down.
Last year on the morning of February 24th, police were called to the Banfield family home on Stablebrook Way in Herndon. Brendan Banfield, the husband and father who lived there, said someone stabbed his wife Christine to death, so he shot him. That man turned out to be 39-year-old Joseph Ryan. But the family's au pair, then 23-year-old Juliana Perez Magalhaes, was charged with Ryan's murder several months later, police saying there was forensic evidence that connected her to the killing. Today, a judge agreeing, saying there is probable cause she committed the murder with a gun. Today in court, a manager of an Ashburn shooting range testified that Brendan and Magalhaes had been to a shooting range twice together in the months leading up to the murder, and that a Glock Brendan purchased the month earlier was found inside the home on the day of the murder. Any motive is still unclear, but theories have been offered. Magalay's defense attorney saying in a previous court appearance that she saw Ryan enter the home, went inside with Brendan Banfield, and shot him when they saw Ryan stabbing Christine Banfield. But prosecutors have said they believe Magalay's and Brendan Banfield were in a relationship and what happened in the home was orchestrated so they could end up together. In that theory, Ryan was lured into the home by someone acting as Christine Banfield on a fetish website. Brendan Banfield was called to testify here today, but pled the fifth when asked a number of questions, including some about his relationship with the family's au pair. Meanwhile, still to this day, no charges have been filed in connection with the killing of Christine Banfield. Now, as for what's next in this case, a grand jury here in Fairfax County will pick it up in a few weeks. Reporting in Fairfax County, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
All right, we have some sad news to pass along tonight. Former NFL player and DC native Vontae Davis has died. Police say they responded to a medical emergency at his home in South Florida this morning, but the 35-year-old was dead when officers arrived. Davis was a star at Dunbar High School in Northwest D.C. We spoke with Davis's former track coach, who was stunned by the news.
He was a constant machine. He was like a sponge. He's always listening, always wanted to know how could he get better.
After high school, Davis went on to play at the University of Illinois, then spent his professional career with the Dolphins, Colts, and Bills. Happening tomorrow, D.C. Council is expected to vote on a bill that would dedicate $500 million to upgrading Capital One Arena and the surrounding area. Remember, that bombshell update dropped last week. Monumental Sports and the district reached an agreement to keep the Caps and Wizards stay put until at least 2050. As part of that agreement, D.C. is allowing Monumental owner Ted Leonsis to expand the arena complex, among other safety and transportation upgrades. D.C. Council Chair Phil Mendelson says that bill is expected to pass. Well, good news tonight for drivers in Alexandria. The city is ringing in the spring season with a pothole blitz. Crews will be filling potholes all around the city all through April. Now, keep in mind, the blitz only covers major streets, not public alleys or parking spaces. The city says drivers should prepare for periodic lane closures as they work to patch the roads.